is said and done, questions asked, maybe even some answers that are given, Lord, that it will be given to your glory and your honor and to our city. Lord, we pray for our holiday season in the next few weeks, Lord, that we will enjoy the birth of Christ. Lord, that we enjoy family and friends, good food, presents, and Lord, above all, again, that we give you all the praise and the glory. Lord, we thank you for everyone that's here. We thank you for our council, our mayor, our governor, our country, our state. And Lord, it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, now we'll have roll call. Councilman Talbot. Here. Councilman Monticello. Here. Councilwoman Cook. Here. Councilman Himmel. Here. Councilman Edmonds. DeLucci.
Here.
We have a quorum. The mayor here tonight. So we have all 7 council members. Council members, you've had a chance to review minutes for the November 25th, 2025 council meeting. Any additions, deletions, or
Motion to approve.
motion to approve by Councilwoman Cook, second by Councilman Himmel. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Minute. Program Director, heard from. Please give us the monthly activity report.
Good evening and happy holidays. Looking forward to a Merry Christmas. Before you have a copy of the monthly activity report, and in November we processed 39 occupational licenses. That's starting to pick back up again. We sent those out about mid-November, and we did have a holiday month, so probably didn't get too many in before the holiday. Building permits, we had 565 permits. That's a little bit down. That would still be quite a lot, but it was a holiday month. Planning and zoning, we had 8 cases. For code enforcement, we've expanded code enforcement and DPW columns to include the number that actually came in and the number that are abated for code enforcement. We had 108 cases, 33 were abated, and 33 are the remainder are still under administrative enforcement. And DPW requests, we had 302 requests received, 81 completed. We're still ramping up staffing there, and if, with your permission, I'd like to invite up our Public Works Director to talk a little bit more about Public Works.
Absolutely. Landon Timms, come on down. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Good evening. We do have another slideshow. So just a quick debriefing. Over the past 2 weeks since the last council meeting, we have completed 80 investigations. These are work orders that will be completed now that we can put a scope of work together. We've received 110 calls since December 1st and 81 online requests. So since December 1st, we've taken in about 200 work orders. These range from street lights, ditching, overgrown trees, vegetation, drainage, those different things. We're continuing our daily ongoing tasks. We're clearing debris, weed eating, trimming trees, and overgrown vegetation. We have come across 3 encampments, 2 of which have been cleaned and the debris removed, with 20 trailer loads of limbs and debris removed from Bluebonnet and Highland. And we've collected 40 bags of trash along Airline, Seagan, Highland, and Bluebonnet. And with the last 2 weeks, you know, we had a rain out of about 3 days. So it's a lot of bags of trash. Here's just some pictures of some of the cleanups that we've been doing. Rotary Keep Tire Town Beautiful in the Grove. This is at the Coursey Boulevard site. This was actually today. We squeezed it in last second. So far, we've filled up 2 dumpsters with a 3rd on the way. Continuing pothole repair, we only completed 9 pothole repairs since the last council meeting. We, again, with the rain out, and we ran out of materials because we're filling so many. But as you can see, this area on the left, and then this is the repair that took place. But we have received more material, and so that'll ramp back up starting this week. And again, here's just a drainage repair that was done, a sinkhole in the front yard with a collapsed sidewalk. We had some of our contractors go out to take care of this issue. And here on one of our servitudes, long-term sinkhole has been an issue for quite a while. It's been in the queue, and so we went out, and now it's been fully repaired, issue restored, and draining properly. And again, just another drainage repair. Some excavation was done. We'll replace the pipe and completed the joint repair, and then backfilled. And again, just another drainage repair. Storm drain leak repaired after a dye test confirmed a broken catch basin causing an internal brick collapse. That was finished and restored. And again, another sinkhole next to a storm drain repaired following preliminary investigations. Repaired and restored. This was a collapsed drain. Replaced the sidewalk just to create that tripping hazard. And this is some ditch excavation that was on Associate. We are continuing our citywide cleanup of debris and overgrown vegetation in our beautification efforts. We're still weed eating, tree trimming in different areas across town, across the city, and continue litter collection efforts across key corridors. We have identified multiple areas, and we're just trying to hit those main thoroughfares, and we're just we have a route, and we walk from one end to the other and just keep picking up trash. Grass cutting has remained consistent. They are out mowing this week. They were in Bluebonnet. After the rain event that we had some emergency cleanup requests due to the heavy rain, and all the affected roadways and medians were promptly cleared. We did have that significant rain event last week. It provided an opportunity for coordinated assessments. The city really came together in the office, from code enforcement, engineering, public works. We really used this opportunity to collect data, and that way for future flood events, we can really mitigate some of this flooding. A lot of this stuff is the easy maintenance issues that we can correct, and that way on the next event, the flooding and the water won't be nearly as bad. And starting Tuesday, we'll have about 9 new team members in Public Works Department, so we are steadily growing, which means we can get more work done for the citizens of St. George. Any questions?
I want to make a comment.
Yes, sir.
This morning at 8:30, I saw 3 guys walking down Hoosh 2 Road picking up trash. And I saw a guy with a lawnmower, riding a lawnmower behind them. Enough sense to pick up the trash so they're not spreading one piece of paper into 200 pieces of paper. So I want to compliment you on that. It looks a whole lot better.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Common sense approach.
Any other questions for Landon? All right, thank you, Landon. Continue to do a great job.
Yeah, very good.
That's all right. Yeah, don't clap for Scott, just Landon. All right, moving on into introduction of ordinances. These will be for public hearing on January 13th, 2026. Number 1, to pledge the 2% sales and use tax levied in the Harveston Economic Development District established by the Metropolitan Council of the City of Baton Rouge and Parish of East Baton Rouge to be used to finance costs of infrastructure development and to provide for related matters. Number 2, appointment of St. George Fire Protection Board of Commissioners. The current commissioners are Chairman Darrell Orso and Commissioner Chris Rosendahl. Will we'll hear that in January 13th, 2026. That is a change in state law that affects the Board of Commissioners, which is why we'll take that item up. Moving into items for public hearing and action. First on the list, ordinance to establish official holidays and office closures for St. George. This is basically a procedural item that's designed to create a holiday schedule for St. George City employees. There are 2 of them. This is an item for public comment. Does anyone want to publicly comment on the holiday ordinance at this time? I've received no cards or emails about this item. All right, hearing none, this item is closed for public comment. Council, do you have any comments or questions at this time?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to amend the wording in the holidays more to align with IBTS, who is our contract company. It doesn't make a lot of sense to have the 2 employees work on a day when IBTS is not there. So I'd like to amend the ordinance as follows. New Year's Day stays the same. We would add Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We would add Memorial Day. We would add June 19th. We would add July 4th. It's on there. We would add Labor Day. Thanksgiving stays the same. Day after Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. It's still 10 holidays. They're just named instead of 5 holidays and 5 floaters.
So the change, if I get it correct, tell me if I don't, tell me. The change is to make the holidays, these are mandatory holidays, and we've eliminated flex holidays and optional days.
Yes, it's still 10 days.
Okay, there's a motion to amend the holiday schedule, vacation schedule, as stated by Patty. Councilwoman Cook, do I have a second? I got a second by Councilman Himmel. Any discussion? Since the motion has been amended, I'll open it up for public comment one more time if anyone wants to comment about the amended holiday version. All right, hearing none, I'll close the public comment for that. We have a motion and a proper second. All in favor of the amendment, say aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries to the amended holiday schedule as stated by Councilwoman Cook. All right, item number 2 on the agenda, ordinance authorizing the City of St. George to enter into a utility franchise agreement with DIMCO. This is an item for public hearing. I do have comments, and so I'll read the emails first, and then I'll call you up in order of the cards I receive. So if you don't hear your name, I'll get to you. First from Tommy. I urge the council to postpone any vote on this matter until the particulars can be presented for public review. I oppose any measure that would cause a direct or indirect increase to my monthly utility bill, and I urge my representatives, member of the council, to also oppose them. Number 2 from Claire. Hi. I would like to add the following to the public comment for item number 2 under the items for public hearing and action for tonight's meeting. I live in District 4. I am writing to encourage you to vote no on the proposed DIMCO franchise fee. St. George was built on a promise that leaders could do more with what was already there and that there would be no new taxes. Introducing a franchise fee, an indirect tax on your constituents, goes against that commitment. I find this deeply disappointing. As a resident who uses DIMCO, I also question why only DIMCO customers are being asked to shoulder a franchise fee for road maintenance. This places an inequitable burden on a small portion of residents. If the plan is to add other utilities like our gas provider Delta, does that mean we'll be facing multiple indirect taxes? Councilwoman Cook shared with me earlier today that DIMCO users in every incorporated city across the 7 parishes DIMCO serves already pay a franchise fee. That may be acceptable for those cities, but it shouldn't be acceptable for the City of St. George, given our founders' commitment to not raising taxes. And make no mistake, this franchise fee is a tax, an indirect one. This should be a non-starter based on the original intent of the City of St. George. Vote no on the proposed DIMCO franchise fees and use the funds that you already have. So those are the 2 emails I received. I'll now go into the folks that filled out comment cards while they were here. Gail Davis, I may have got that wrong, so if I butcher your name, I apologize. Gail Davis wishes to speak. Are you here? Come on down. And please state your name correctly, so I don't mess it up again.
Gail Davis,
I
just
did.
like you said. You got it
All
right.
And your address. I appreciate-
5114 Lost Oak Drive,
Perfect.
St. George. This is moving a lot faster than I thought. I told my wife I'd be home about 8. Looks like we're moving. I tried to find the ordinance on the website. It wasn't there, so I'm kind of going by what a board member from Demco had told us, that it's a 5% franchise fee. I'm not exactly sure, and I don't need to know what a franchise fee is for, but from my perspective, it's a sales tax on my utility bill. Like the lady said before in her email, I don't think this is a good look for St. George. The very first year, here we come with a tax that's coming in the back door. It should be voted on by the residents, just like any other tax. Some people would say, well, the federal government puts taxes on. But I'm not able to investigate those. This one's local. If you want to put a tax on, put it to a vote. That's all I've got.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail.
And Gail, you didn't use up all your 3 minutes, but I would state public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person.
It's moving so fast, I figured I better go fast.
You were as efficient as the meeting is running. All right, next we have Steve Irvin, who also wishes to speak. Steve?
Well, good evening. Steve Irving, I-R-V-I-N-G, 18541 Bay Ridge Court, 70817. I've lived in what is now St. George for over 40 years. I wear various hats. Some of y'all may know me. I'm an attorney that's practiced in town for over 50 years. But one of my other hats is that I'm the elected Demco board member for District 4. Now, District 4 encompasses everybody who's a Demco customer in St. George. I have 17,000 constituents. Not all of them are in actually almost 18,000. Not all of them are in St. George, but a good number of them are. I have spoken to them about this. I understand from Demco that the proposal is to pay a 5% tax. They are unanimously opposed to it, vehemently opposed to it, for reasons stated in the emails and others. I do want to correct one thing. It was suggested that there are franchise fees paid in other jurisdictions. There are quite a few jurisdictions that Demco serves where there may be a franchise agreement, but there's no franchise fee that's paid. For example, the East Baton Rouge Parish has a franchise agreement with Demco, but there is no fee attached to it. And that's going to be in place until 2039. So if you want to, it would probably be a good thing to give Demco a franchise with no fee attached to it. You don't really have anything to sell, because the whole purpose of the franchise fee originally, when it came into existence, and I've also been a regulatory lawyer back many years ago, the franchise fee was done because it was a convenience to the utilities to be able to run their lines down the road right-of-way, and it saved them the trouble of negotiating a fee agreement, a right-of-way agreement with each customer along the road. So it can be a good thing. In this case, Demco's already got a franchise agreement with the parish, so they've got access to all of the parish roads. When subdivisions are developed in East Baton Rouge Parish and in St. George, there are utility right-of-ways that are put in the subdivision that the developers welcome us and even pay some of the expense to provide electricity for their subdivision. And by the way, I'm speaking for myself and not for Demco. So anyway, you don't really have anything to sell, frankly. And there's no good reason to put a franchise fee on other than it's just a way to generate money. There is a lot of upward pressure on utility bills from numerous things. and you don't need to add another one.
All right, thank you. Justin Turner?
So I'm Justin Turner, 6843 Dianthus Drive, St. George, 70817. So I kind of got started to digging into this because of the Demco franchise fee. I have a lot of research that I've done. So a franchise fee is not a requirement. Louisiana revised statute says that you may impose a fee, but it doesn't tell you that you have to. We don't have to have an agreement. And just like others have said, this is a indirect tax that is going to be passed on. There's also within the revised statutes, the laws that says that how those fees are charged, how those fees are allowed to be passed on to the consumer, and they will be passed on to the consumers. All of our bills will go up. The other part is a question. The ordinance is not online. I don't have an ordinance. I would like to read a passage to you from Louisiana Revised Statute 33406. A proposed ordinance may be introduced by any alderman at any board meeting. Each proposed ordinance shall be in writing. I'd like to understand how an ordinance is proposed, introduced, and not provided in writing. There's one of two things. Either our city clerk refused to provide the document upon my public request, or the council did not provide the written copies as required within Louisiana statute. So that's all I got for that.
All right, thank you. Jonathan Lewis? Good. Name and address.
Lewis, 19212 Merlot Avenue, St. George. I would just kind of echo. They already said all the stuff I was going to say, but I just want to echo. In the beginning, you guys said that there weren't going to be any taxes like this because of all the things that y'all had in place for this city. We just want you to keep your word.
All right, thank you. I'm out of cards and emails, but if anybody wants to come forward and take their 3 minutes, feel free. Monty McNutt, come on down. Name and address, sir.
Monty McNutt, 14925 Currency Drive in St. George, Louisiana, 70817. First thing I want to do is tell you thank you for being open without a formal piece of paper. Thank you for your openness. I would echo what everyone else has said. I appreciate what you presented in the earlier part of the meeting where you've shown what's being done. Love that. I would like to spoke to that, but that's okay. I'll speak to it now, but it's out of order, not as, according to the subject, but excellent job of what's being done with the mowing and cleaning the streets and that kind of thing. It's refreshing to see that. But to the point of not posting the proposed ordinance, can you tell me is that true or not?
Well, it's just a comment. We'll do our part in a minute. Right now, it's just commentary.
Okay, good. I would say that's definitely not the St. George way to not post the proposed ordinance and then ask for public comment. I know you folks, I've seen you in action. I just can't believe that's happening.
All right, thank you. All right, I'll assume Monty was last. Anybody else? Well, you can't just sit around and wait. They got all the good comments in.
My name's Craig Broussard, 18234 Deep Forest Avenue. I just want to reiterate part of the stuff with the no new taxes when we formed the city. Excuse me. The other things, I think that we're probably one of the higher echelon cities in the state. And I don't know, this is kind of proposes a question, with the property taxes that we're paying, does the city not get any part of the property taxes toward our budget. I know the 2% sales tax is going towards our budget. And then with other things that we pay taxes on, state income tax, does a percentage of that come to the city? I would think would be some revenue sharing from the different areas that we pay taxes. And with our income in the city of St. George, probably in the upper 10% of the state. I don't know that for a fact, but just from the homes that we've got, we're not building any $75,000 houses, so everything that's being built is being taxed. So I would think some of those revenues would be working their way down to our city government. So that's where I don't think we need another tax imposed. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, at this time, I'll close public comments at this time. Council, do you have any comments or questions? If not, okay, go ahead.
I think we share a lot of the same concerns. We've asked the same questions. We do have some things we need to look at more in depth. I will answer your question. We do not receive property tax, so it's 2% sales tax and some other fees, occupational license. But I think at this point in time, I would like to make a motion to defer this to January. I think we need to do some more research. That'll give us at least 5 weeks to go through some more details.
Okay, we have a motion to defer from Councilwoman Cook, second by Councilman Monticello. All in favor of deferring this item to, did you specify which meeting, the first meeting in January? All right, to January, deferring it to January 13th, 2026. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. Item is deferred. I will say one brief thing on the matter before we move on. In lieu of charging individual permit fees, anytime a utility would ask for a permit. Instead, it's a one-time fee that's borne by the utility each year that covers the cost of there are responsibilities of each of these utilities and the responsibilities of the municipality to these utilities done by an agreement. So I think there is agreement no matter what, because it has to happen. The fee part of that, though, does cover the city's ability to not just build new roadways, but to be designed to do all of our maintenance of okay, so be vital to the city, can speed along a process where we know we've got 2,000 incomplete 311 from our parish, as well as get us down the road to improving our roads and our drainage faster. So I understand it's not a lot of fun, and I understand it is a fee that in some capacities will be borne by the individual citizens, including myself. But we'll talk more about that in January. So it's been deferred. We'll now move on to item number 3, which is a second amendment to cooperative endeavor agreement among Harveston, City Parish, SLP Development, and City of St. George for sales tax increments. Randy, was this the one you want to speak on? Come on down.
Randy Roussel, I'm with Phelps Dunbar, an attorney representing Harveston. Primarily, just to give you some background on the Economic Development District and to respond to questions. The Economic Development District was created in 2019, and in connection with that, it's a pledge of the incremental taxes generated within Harveston. It does not include the lakes at Harveston or the preserve at Harveston, those are not inside the Economic Development District, but it's the other property along Bluebonnet. The state pledged 2% of the state tax, and the parish pledged 2% of the parish tax, and the district has authority to impose a district tax. So the request is to continue the agreements that previously existed to substitute the St. George tax for the parish tax, because the parish tax was eliminated and replaced by the city tax. The Economic Development District is governed by a 4-member board. The members of that board are the mayor of St. George, the Metro Councilman for the district in which the property is located, and then the mayor pro tem and the mayor president for the parish. And those are the 4-member boards. Those are the they have public meetings, and they authorize which projects are being funded through the Economic Development District. The district is to encourage a lot of infrastructure. Some of the signature projects are the roundabout at the Harveston Way and Bluebonnet, which is being proposed, and is also a second matter that will come up today. Is also the developer has extended Harveston Way 7,000 feet, so there's a secondary access into University Club. The developer has committed to donate land for a fire station and an EMS station. The developer has donated land for the charter school that is on Harveston. So the intent of the CEA was to encourage that level of investment in infrastructure. I think everybody agrees St. George, the parish, needs as much infrastructure as we can get, and there should be incentives to provide a high level of infrastructure. Mr. Wampo is here to kind of explain the broader vision and what they actually do. And so I'm going to stop now unless anybody has a question for me.
Any questions from the council at this time?
I do, so I just want to clarify. There are 3 from city parish. It's the Metro Council, the mayor pro tem for city parish, not our mayor pro tem. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then
there's 2
mayor, city
parish representatives, the councilman and the mayor, or their designees.
3.
Okay.
And that's established by state law.
Okay. Council, any questions? All right, thank you. Mike? Or whoever's next.
Good afternoon. Mike Wampold, 140 Sunset Boulevard, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, developer of Harveston. And I'll just give you, if I can, a little background on Harveston. The initial piece of Harveston was 525 acres that I bought from the Gentiloni family in 2004. And we have been sitting, waiting, drawing plans, engineering and so forth on that piece of property for 20 plus years. I acquired another piece of property, about 250 acres to the south of that piece. So that really comprises about close to 750 acres. That is Harveston. That does not include the preserve at Harveston or the lakes at Harveston. Those are separate developments. I'm a co-developer with a partner on those. We created, as Randy said, the Economic Development District in 2019. And it is a economic development tool that's offered by the state in state statute to do exactly what we intend to do, which is really create a mixed-use development that the likes of which does not exist in Baton Rouge, or really we have toured a number of places. We have the size and the ability to rival, any of these upscale, South Carolina, North Carolina type developments, throughout the South. We plan to do that. We have vast green areas, public spaces planned with retail located around those green areas. We have a diagram if you want to see it, or we can do that after. Bodie White sponsored the legislation for the Economic Development District. Representative Rick Edmonds championed the project also and presented it before the legislature for approval. It was approved by the legislature, by the East Baton Rouge Parish City Council, and based on that, we did, like Randy said, we did the donation for the school, for the 13 acres, for the Great Heart School. We have committed to the mayor and to some of the council folks here that we will donate the property for the sheriff's substation. I'm sorry, the fire station. Maybe the sheriff's substation too, we'll see. Also to participate in the cost of the roundabout. I know that there's a measure before the council today for the cooperative endeavor for the roundabout. The developer will pay the lion's share of those improvements. Quite frankly, the traffic engineer is saying that but for the University Club coming out on the Harveston Way, the intersection probably would require a traffic signal. But with the traffic from U Club, with the traffic that exists already on Bluebonnet, we're going forward and we're committing to do the roundabout there. It's roughly, the cost we have right now is roughly $6 million. We appreciate the consideration for St. George to participate with us on that. And with that said, I mean, you can see the activity out there. We started moving forward with this in 2019, and COVID stopped us in our tracks. So we're excited about getting this back rolling, and excited, glad to answer any questions.
I would ask, I got a couple. So roundabout was one of them. Does this extend the duration of the Economic Development District or merely substitute St. George in the place of Baton Rouge?
I'm sorry, the extended duration?
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't extend the duration of the Economic Development District. It merely just substitutes?
Correct.
Okay.
That's right.
And then in the future, would the Economic Development, would you support changing the makeup of that committee to include more St. George and less EBR parish representation? Would you oppose it?
Not on its face.
Okay.
No.
Council members?
Give us an update on, people drive it a lot and see development going on right now. Give us a little update of some of the projects that are going on there right now and where you're coming around with maybe a second entrance leading up to this roundabout that literally everyone in District 1 is talking about tomorrow.
Right.
I know we're moving forward with it with a lot of help tonight, but what's some other things that are going on currently there in your district?
So the first phase of Harveston is on the north side. It's a 120-acre mixed-use community with residential, retail, restaurants, grocery, medical, retirement, so forth. The 120 acres of the 750 acres, to give you an idea of the size, it's the 120 acres is equal to the size of Roseanne. That's what Roseanne is, 120 acres. It took them a long time they're still developing that. Tommy Spinoza bought Roseanne, bought the land for Roseanne the year that I bought the Harveston property. So they're ahead of me. I've been holding and waiting. Right now, on that 120 acres, and really for the entire north side of Harveston, we have buried a sewer lift station that's costing about $3.5 million to put the sewer lift station in and the piping in, and wrapping that around to Blue Bonnet at Harveston Way to bore under there and tie into the sewers, to the Baton Rouge EBR sewer. We've got streets, roads, and drainage going in. We've got a contract with R.J. Daigle to have the subdivision development complete by September, October of '26. We've got substantial interest in that property, including several major health care providers that we have a tract allocated for health care and health care services and fitness. We have a retirement village tract. We're talking to several retirement, upscale retirement village folks, developers there. Ty Gose is working with me on this project. We're both master developers, which means we will work with sub-developers to do certain parcels and put in their own, lots, houses, and so forth, along with some retail and commercial. We're working with one of the groups we're talking to is Sterling right now to do grocery retail and so forth. This area is grossly underserved unless you like to go to Walmart, with neighborhood groceries, with medical, and really upscale rental. So that's it in a nutshell. It's a big development. I'll probably be in front of this council a number of times before this thing's over with. We've got probably a 15, 20-year go. It's been 20, probably be 20 more.
Okay, so you're saying we should just put a seat over on the side, put your name on it?
I appreciate it.
Any other, yeah, go ahead.
Rear access to this road, this connection to U Club back to Blue Bonnet, does that also include the subdivision, Lexington subdivision? Or am I off?
There is some connectivity to Lexington. It's not directly through Harveston Way. On the south side of Blue Bonnet, we have a master plan there that would include connecting into Lexington.
So they'll have rear access as well?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
All right, any more questions?
One question, Mike. What's the percentage of the building permits going to East Baton Rouge Parish versus St. George? Houses, commercial, everything.
Yeah, well, since St. George is now issuing building permits, I think 100% of all building permits in Harveston, well, I don't know why one would go to EBR, why one would go to Baton Rouge.
EBR, it's all coming to St. George, building permits?
We're 100% located in St. George. So I think, now, this is devil's in the details, but I was under the impression that Baton Rouge that St. George has taken on issuing building permits. If that's correct, Mr. Rayford's here to correct me, but I think that that's 100% of the permits would be issued through St. George.
All right. Mike, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any other public comment on this item at this time? Come on down.
Monty McNutt, 14925 Currency Drive, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. St. George, Louisiana, excuse me.
That's the first time you've done that.
70817, okay. My comment is, just as a property owner, it sounds like a wonderful development. And I'm sure these folks have done a lot of effort and a lot of planning. And one of my questions is, has their plan been reviewed by St. George? You talk about the permits. I would wonder if the plan has been reviewed. I'm sure their plan was reviewed by East Baton Rouge. To me, it should be reviewed by St. George. The overriding question I have is that this property is at the bottom of the drainage area for the whole parish of East Baton Rouge. My concern, part of my subdivision right now floods from backwater, not from regular water, backwater. I'm sure the development is going to take, all new developments take measures to ensure their properties do not flood. And I'm sure they're doing the same thing here. That is one of my major concerns. I would like to see the economic development, the monies. I heard a lot of money spent to a lot of areas, but none to drainage. I'm sure they're going to do some drainage. But the last thing I want to emphasize and comment on, which I'll be commenting to this body and this group until I die or it's done. Our city is at the lowest point in East Baton Rouge Parish. We need pumps to pump the water out to the Mississippi River. That's the only thing that's going to work for us. We need to start charging, we need to develop the plan, which we are developing the future use plan for St. George, but we need to consider that cost beginning today. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, last call. You're a wallflower. This is your chance. All right, we're going to close public comment at this time. All in favor, say aye. All right, motion carries. Item number 4 on the agenda is the transfer on a boulevard from LA 30 Nicholson Drive to Burbank. This is an item for public hearing, so we'll take comment at this time. Do we have any comment on that? Fred, you're moving over there. You want to come comment on that? You keep swaying back and forth. All right, we have no cards, no emails about this, so I'll close public comment at this time. Council members, do you want to tell me what it's about? Tell the audience what we're doing? I mean, I'll go do it. Essentially, this is a transfer. It is what it says. Transfer of Bluebonnet Boulevard from LA 30 Nicholson Drive to Burbank. It's officially transferring it to the city of St. George. Correct me if I'm wrong. This would have been the city of St. George's no matter what. This is merely a ratification of what exists in reality, that this is a St. George roadway. Sherry, does that sound correct?
Yes, it's correct. It's that portion that is adjacent to Harveston.
All right.
And it would allow all the permits for the construction of the roundabout that was discussed earlier to be issued by St. George.
So if we want a beloved roundabout in that location, this is what's going to make that possible.
It clarifies that as between the city parish and the city of St. George, all permitting and inspection will be done by the city of St. George.
Okay.
With that, motion to approve.
All right. Motion to approve by Councilman Edmonds, second by Councilman Monticello. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. Moving on to number 5. It seems like we have a theme for the evening. Cooperative development of harvested. Here. One more time. You get paid by the hour to be here, so I figured you'd come back up.
Yeah, Randy Russell, Phelps Dunbar. This gets into the mechanics of the construction of the right-of-way. There's going to be a contribution of funds by the parish based on their traffic impact fees that they collected. Mr. Wampold and his development entity, the roundabout is about $5 million to construct. $1.2 million is coming from traffic impact fees. The city of St. George and the cooperative endeavor agreement is committing to make certain infrastructure improvements, not directly related to the construction of the roundabout, but ancillary to the roundabout, such as installing some street lighting on Bluebonnet, helping with striping, reducing some of the lane widths to slow down traffic, and other items there. Those items are identified on Exhibit C, and it contemplates a 3-year timeline for which the city to contribute to some infrastructure improvements related to and ancillary to the roundabout. Ms. Morris can probably explain it in more detail if necessary.
All right, Sherry.
The Metro Council has already approved $1.2 million to be used for infrastructure for this project. That $1.2 million comes from traffic impact fees that were collected by the city parish. Then St. George's participation would be to give $1.2 million value. So Exhibit C, as Randy explained, gives some examples of how St. George would contribute, striping the roads, landscaping the roads, waiving permitting fees and inspection fees, those sorts of things. And then once we get to the $1.2 million contribution, that's the cap, then St. George would not have any further contribution to the infrastructure out of its.
Thank you, Sherry. Any questions for Mr. Russo?
I just want to clarify, something was mentioned earlier about a red light, but the roundabout isn't the agreement, right? I mean, that is what everybody wants. I think that's what those neighborhoods want. I don't think anybody wants a red light, so I think we want a
Locations that
roundabout.
you're talking about.
Okay, so there's the other lights came up, so earlier, but we're talking about the roundabout that is where? At the end of U Club?
Adjacent to University
Correct, at
Club.
Harveston Way and Bluebonnet is the roundabout.
Okay, great, thank you.
The plans do currently, that were approved by the city parish, do include 2 roundabouts. And they're roundabout closer to the school being converted to a traffic lighted intersection. That has not been approved. It would probably come to you for approval, but the other one adjacent to University Club is definitely going to be a roundabout.
And it specifically says roundabout every single time it's mentioned, correct?
Lighting for the roundabout.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you. Anyone else have comment at this time? I don't have any cards or other emails, so we'll close public comment at this time. Council? Questions, comments? Other? Motion to approve by Councilman Edmonds. Second by, I assume that was a second by Councilman Monticello. You giving him credit? Yeah. Second by Councilman Monticello. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, finally, number 6, the most controversial thing we're going to do all night, guys. Intergovernmental agreement with the city parish and animal control and rescue center, effective January 1st, 2026. Does anyone other than me want to explain it? Sherry?
This is an agreement similar to the agreement that the city parish has with other municipalities in the parish to provide animal control and rescue services. However, the agreement that was presented to us, there may be some slight amendment to it before it's actually executed, used a population of 86,816. The official census recognizes us as 80,873, so I've requested the city parish to make that adjustment, but it is a charge of $5.10 per capita, and it's on par with the other municipalities.
So it's not necessarily an increase in service, it's just ratifying the existing service the parish provides.
The parish has been providing that service to the city of St. George through the intergovernmental agreement for general services, but that provision for animal control ends December 31st, so this would pick up January 1st.
Okay. Any public comment at this time? I don't have any cards or emails, but if you want to talk about animals, adopt a cat, dog, Christmas. All right. Public comment is closed at this time. Council members, any questions, comments about this agenda? Motion to approve from Councilman Monticello. Do I have a second? Second from Councilman Edmonds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. At this time, I think, Mr. Rayford, did you want to come on down and say something? You're not just here for good looks. Come on down.
Thank you, council members, and I appreciate the opportunity. One of the reasons I did show up today because I've had a meeting with the mayor and a few of the council members in regards to the roundabout or the signalized intersection at PQ at Highland. And, you know, during that meeting we had a week and a half ago, I indicated to the mayor that I said that if we're going to make a change from a signalized intersection to a roundabout, then I was going to need approval from the council, this council, number one. That would be a need because, number one, we already had meetings. We did agree to what we were doing, and now I'm being asked to make a change, which, if everything works out, that's fine. From this perspective, I wanted to be sure that the council knows that I did mention that we would have to have a resolution. There is a gap in funding, and I know, Councilman Merrill, you at one time were working with capital outlay trying to get additional funding for this project. I don't know what's happened on that in relationship to the project, but in reality, there is going to be additional funding is going to be needed because right now, as it compared to looking at the right-of-way costs and construction and everything, the total signal cost is about $6.6 million. The roundabout is $8.3 million. Reason being, number one, more area is needed because of the roundabout itself, and you're also going to have to look at additional drainage that will be required because of where the outfall comes from off the property, also that drains across Highland and goes off ultimately ends into Bayou Fountain. So that's the kind of the dollars we're talking about, and there is a gap. I mean, right now currently we are moving forward with some additional funds. We also put in some capital outlay for that particular project because knowing that now we were going to, and the roundabout's going to cost us more, we wanted to look and see how we could appropriately fund it. From this standpoint, I certainly will need the resolution with understanding that there will be some gap and what that number can be worked out through engineering once we finalize that, because I think Stephanie and Scott and them, we could sit down and work out those differences and what that cost would be. There certainly will be additional right-of-way costs. There's no question because of the area that's going to be taken. And even once the council was to approve this item, which that's up to y'all, certainly I have to also have that to go back to the council. My council will say, here's the change we're making, and my council will also have to approve the recommendation regardless of what this council decides what to do. So I just wanted to mention that was one of the reasons I was here. Secondly, I would also say that, and nobody's going to take this wrong, but I think your maintenance people do a great job. I've watched them. I've been out on the job to look at some of the people working out there, and I just wanted to comment because I do live in St. George. Not to say that we haven't done a good job, because I will never say that, never. But I think, I think y'all moving in the right direction, and I just wanted to make comment about how good it looks, particularly in the areas where they're doing a lot of the clearing and around the canals and things like that. I just wanted to mention that to the council. I'll answer any questions you may have about the roundabout at this point, but it will be a resolution, and it will have to, that's what it's, with the components in there that, yes, and the cost will have to be associated. I don't have that number yet because it depends on what happens on how we lay this out. And to be honest, you may also have to help acquire the right-of-way because additional costs, but as you probably know, there are some property owners, excuse me, are a little concerned about the roundabout and what it does to their property, and that's going to be some issues we also will have to address under this particular project if we move forward with the roundabout.
Right.
I'll answer any questions you got.
All right, I'll clarify that he did qualify that, any questions, with roundabout. So, not a free-for-all. Council members, if you have questions for Mr. Rayford, go.
What's your timeline that you're hearing on the PQ interchange opening?
Well, according to DOTD, it will probably be first quarter of this coming year.
This coming year,
Yes, sir, 26.
not this year.
No, this coming year. That's what they're projecting, and quite honestly, looking at where they are, I would probably say that is very true. The biggest delay was dealing with the signal equipment, which they are getting in and putting stuff together to accommodate that.
All right. Any more questions?
Ask you not to go anywhere till the meeting's over.
Sure, I'd be more than happy to do that.
No, go ahead.
Fred, thank you. Do you know, and I know you have to go into a lot of detail, but approximate time for a signal as opposed to a roundabout? Are we talking about a year difference, or what would that take? Because we all know something needs to be done.
There's no question, and regardless of what we do, it's still better than what exists out there today. And the fact that we added the street lighting also has made a lot of positive comments from the people who drive the road, including some of the people who live in the area. I was a little concerned about how much light would put out, to impact the quality of life of the people, but I think keeping people out of the ditch or keeping them out of the lake is very important, and I think the lighting has made a big plus for that situation. Realistically, we have to start, if we go to the roundabout, if that's what the decision is made through this council and also our council, we're probably going to be looking at sometime first part of 2027 to get done, because there's a lot more work to it than people perceive, because you're going to be elevating a lot of the property around there when you look at the roundabout to accommodate from a traffic standpoint. So there will be more time to that. We're moving very fast on the actual signalized intersection. We're hopefully to have the plans to the point where we're at 60 to 90%, where then at that point we can move forward with buying the right-of-way that was necessary with the signalized intersection. Again, I want to emphasize, assuming that we don't have any issues dealing with the court system, dealing with property taking, that could change from 6 months to a year. And trust me, I know that because I've been expropriations. We've done this many times, and sometimes just getting the answer to where we want to be takes a little longer than most people would expect.
I will say, Fred, one thing, it does look very nice, and we appreciate it very much. And I think it's going to help Airline Highway, it's going to help the whole city out this way.
No question.
But I'd say thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Rayford.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate your time and expertise. I have a question. We hear a lot of opinions from our side, from those opposed to a roundabout or making any changes whatsoever, to those who are in favor of a roundabout or making any changes whatsoever. And my question is, what are the studies that have been done for that intersection, and that way we can go from opinions to the expert and the data? What are the studies? How many studies have been taken on the PQ Highland exchange?
Well, first off, it was years before when the state owned Highland Roadway. They were doing an actual study and evaluation of looking at the roundabout at that location. It had a lot of data that was collected, had some recommendations, but they never officially completed it, and there were still a lot of questions that needed to be addressed as to whether was this a positive situation for this particular area with the volume of traffic. And let's face it, you don't have to wait on the interstate. Highland Road has a lot of traffic on it every day. I mean, you all know that. I ride it every day coming home, so I can make sure I looked at it. So if somebody would ask a question, I would be able to answer that. But in reality, we did the study, also the city has, because we wanted to see what the impact would be, because we have a lot of information, and be glad to share that information to anyone that was requested, because we want people to at least know that. And to be honest, both of them will do. I mean, both make improvements to that intersection. Both meet the requirements from a safety standpoint. So, I mean, in reality, it's about how much money you want to spend, at least at this point. But the traffic is not very different when you look at the peak hour traffic, safety issues between both the traffic signal and also the roundabout. Certainly there are opinions, but I will tell you at our meeting that we had at the Brecht Center on Highland, there were 3-1 for the signalized intersection. Just so, and there were a lot of people there. That's what we looked at, but we were moving forward with what we wanted to try to address, and then meeting with some of the council members and the mayor, I said, I don't want to be doing 2 studies or do 2 plans. That's ridiculous, wasting taxpayers' money. So we looked at trying to address that based on our meeting with the members, some of the members here, and also the mayor. And they said move forward with what we were doing, which was at that point the signalized intersection. Now, there were some members there were not very happy about that, but that's why I'm asking. If I'm going to be told or asked to do something, I want a resolution. I need to have that where y'all agree that this is what we want. And there will be some gap in cost, and I will make sure that I have that for you, and I would be glad to share that with Sherry and the mayor, whatever we have to deal with that, so everybody knows what that situation is. And the right-of-way cost and the right-of-way acquisition, that's going to be something that I really need to sit down with your attorney to work out all the details with.
So
Did I answer your question?
No, sir, you didn't.
Okay, good.
So
We have the studies. I'll be glad to provide it to you. You can look at it, but both of them are going to tell you what we have. We'll say, this works, that works. It's not necessarily it's the best, this is the best option. It doesn't do that, especially with the one from DOTD that was done a long time ago.
So I understand what you're saying, but you're asking the council to make a resolution on a roundabout, and we've heard that there are studies that have been taken, but we're not getting what the results of the studies are. So we're gonna have to make a decision here, but we're not getting any information in regards to that. So that puts us in a very difficult position here, because we don't want to make the wrong decision here, if that makes sense.
No, it certainly makes sense, and I will tell you that information has been provided to some of the council members, and I don't know if all of it, I'll be more than happy to get that. And I think if you look at what we have, it shouldn't take you that long to be able to say, hey, I think I want to make that. If you want to push this back to the next meeting, I don't really like that, because I'm being pointed the finger at me because I'm delaying this project. And to be honest, guys and ladies, I mean, this MOVE-BR program is very important to our community in St. George, everywhere is in this parish. But when things are not moving and we're not seeing, activity moving in the right direction, fingers start getting pointed at, and guess who they get pointed at? Me, because I am the guy that oversees that. I understand your issues, and I will be more than happy to provide that information to all of y'all. But from our standpoint, the reason that we looked at this was both the roundabout and also the signalized intersection work at this location.
Fred, can I ask a question? Sorry, David,
Well, no, go ahead.
I was going to ask a question. And these 2 studies that were done, did they both include straightening out and realigning PICU?
One did and one did not.
And which project are you currently intending to move forward with, absent some resolution from our body?
We're going to still leave PICU. It'll shift some, but not a whole lot, because we're moving the signalized intersection a little more west.
So it still have that little curve at the end?
You're going to still have that curve, yes,
into
sir.
that blind curve?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you remember from the studies which one was graded the best solution, or by whoever did the study, the best outcome would be to do what with PICU Lane?
Again, You could probably do both, but the biggest difference was what the delays were at a signalized intersection, your peak hours, afternoon, your peak hour, morning traffic, what those delays were compared to the roundabout, which also had longer queues, and when you're looking at how long traffic stays at a particular area, makes it very difficult for people to get in and out of their own driveways during peak hour or non-peak hours. So
I guess I would ask, did the top two results that were presented originally on this project, did both of them include straightening and realigning PICU?
No, sir.
Any other questions for Mr. Rayford at this time? All right, thank you, Fred.
Yes, sir. And I will, when I get in tomorrow, I'll make sure I have copies, and I'll send them to, I'll send them to Sherry, and then she can just get it all to the
Perfect.
council members, okay?
Mr. Cromer, are you here for fun? All right, come on down. Can you come up and say hi real quick so the council can meet you? Wait, real quick, introduce yourself.
Good evening, sir. I'm Greg Cromer. I'm the legislative liaison for the Department of Transportation and Development. What does that do? I essentially babysit 144 state legislators, House members, and senators. I've sat in the legislature for 3 terms myself, so that's easy. And then I babysit 305 mayors across the state of Louisiana, along with about 60 parish presidents. That's easy for me also because I sat in the mayor's chair in Slidell for 6 years before I took on this job when the governor called. When I say babysit, it's answer questions, make sure that projects are moving, try to help projects get off the ground, get funded, and keep moving. And generally just, I call myself the Incumbent Protection Program. If I can make you guys look good and get reelected, then maybe the legislators will be willing to give us more money as they develop confidence in our agency. So that's
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for the PQ interchange and all the work you've been doing. Speaking about re-election, maybe for all of us, this topic that we're talking about tonight.
Yes, sir.
Island Road and PQ has been a hot topic item since a lot of us even been appointed to now being elected, and working with Mr. Fred to get this thing rolling.
Very much aware of that.
Like Councilman DeLucia was saying, there's a lot of sometimes opinions that go around and what maybe someone's heard, third-party information, and we really just want to try to, gain all the facts, times, dates. I have emails and texts saying that maybe the PQ interchange could open as early as December this month, maybe February. We know that once it opens, no matter where we are, whatever day is going to drive a lot of traffic to that area. We've discussed time and time again a roundabout and or a light, the straightening of PQ, sight line with trees going down on Highland, all sorts of things. So just in your expertise of the PQ interchange and traffic studies and knowing Highland Road there at PQ, just give us some of your expertise on your experience and what we should do.
I don't know if you could call my experience expertise in highway of transportation, road development and design. I'm not an engineer by trade, but I'd have to agree with everything that Mr. Rayford said. We're projecting first quarter of 27 completion. If you go out and look at the project, that's fairly optimistic. I think a good possibility we'll make it, but it'll be towards the end of the quarter, I would think. 26. I'm sorry, this next coming quarter. I think we've got a potential to have that completed. Roundabouts versus signalization, big cost differences there. Time to develop a roundabout as opposed to time to develop a signalized interchange. Roundabout, you've got alignment issues you've got to deal with. You've got more right-of-way that you've got to procure that takes a longer period of time. If you've got to redo your alignment, which may get into some NEPA requirements, environmental reviews, which can extend the project. All of that, including up to the cost of roundabouts, generally start for a two-lane, four interchange roundabout around $5 million these days. It's gone up in the past 8 to 10 years from about $3 million to $5 million. This interchange is a little bit more complicated than what we normally do with some of the alignment issues, and I think that must be what's driving the $8 million price tag that Mr. Rayford talked about. That, like I say, that's not much expertise. I'm not an engineer. But I hate to say this, but I'm elected official, a public servant. I don't want to say politician because I've been in politics for over 20 years, but truly, based on my experience in my communities and where we're putting in roundabouts in, they're very effective ways of moving traffic. But if you've got households that are on the interchanges leading into these, as Mr. Rayford says, you do not leave much timing for citizens to enter the roadway when you've got continuous flow of traffic, which is what the roundabout is intended to do.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll give each of you guys a business card before I leave. If any of you guys want to talk with project engineers or project managers on the project, if you let me know, I'm happy to set up any kind of meetings with our engineers, our staff. That's one of the things I am good at. So.
Can you get state dollars for roadways?
I'm getting state dollars for state projects right now.
We got some of those too. We can talk
I know
about.
you do. I know you do.
All right.
Fred, can you come back up? So one of my questions would be, just kind of as we're kind of battling the thought process of this and moving forward and all that, we talked about 6.6 million for a traffic light. We talked about 8.3 for a roundabout. Let's say we go and we put the traffic light in because that's what we do, right? The studies say we can do it. It's safe. That's what the 3-to-1. That's what the people want. So we do that. And that's great. Let's say in a year's time, 2 years' time, with the traffic coming off PQ, Highland Road, it's already there, and the whole deal. It's not working. All right. And so now we got to go to Plan B. By that time, moved BR on, and then now it's up to us. So we have to. I'm not going to say the word fix it, but we have to change it. And you mentioned the 6.6 to put the light in, 8.3 to put the roundabout in some kind,
Yes,
reasonable
that's
number.
correct.
What would it cost if we move BR goes and puts the traffic light in, and then we, in a couple years, just guessing, we have to change it, and let's assume that we did a roundabout, because that was the next way to try to move traffic,
Yes.
maybe better, safer, whatever. What do you think the cost would be for us to modify that and do that?
Wow, that's an interesting comment and question, only by the fact that who knows what the economy is going to be like. And that's what's really also a driving factor on a lot of our cost increase because of the cost of material, cost to do the actual construction. I wouldn't think it'll be much difference to that, but, and I would never want to put that number out because we will be held accountable for that. But with all the conditions that we're dealing with right now, I don't know that, but that would be a decision that we would have to make at a later date, that's for sure.
Have there ever been anything like that in your experience in your time with that route?
As long as I've...
And changed to another? Or?
No, sir, and I worked for 37 years in East Baton Rouge Parish, and about the only thing that I know that we have done was make a 2-lane into a 4-lane, or do a 2-lane to a 5-lane, which we try to stay a little bit away from at this point. But in regards to a signalized intersection to a roundabout, it would be an interesting challenge to do that. It's not that it can't be done, but that cost could be a little challenging.
Fred, who owns PQ? Who's gonna be responsible for that road?
from my understanding, looking at it, it would be the city of St. George.
Highland
Now,
Road.
let me just say this, though. That is something, I don't want to put my, say something out of place, but we're going to be meeting with St. George Group to start talking about what the road transfers and what's going to be moving into y'all and what maybe we may want to look at keeping and get that into some type of an agreement. But at this point, that's, right now, I'm looking at whatever's in the line, that's going to be yours, but if we want to have those discussions with your group,
Gotcha.
we're going to do so.
And what about that portion of Highland Road right there? Who, in theory, who would own that? That's in St. George County.
Yes, sir, all at St. George.
So, would Move BR entertain just giving the city of St. George that money and letting us do our own project there? And if not, why?
That's probably an answer that I'm not able to provide at this point. Me personally, no, I wouldn't see a problem with that. However, I mean, there may be other factors that I haven't looked at or decided, and I wouldn't want to tell you or this council, yes, we can do that, when in reality I can't. But I certainly can get that answer for you.
Okay. Any more questions for Mr. Rayford?
One more, I may have missed it, and I'm sorry if I did. Did we, in the initial studies that we did, and you had the traffic light with how Piku's shaped now, and you had the roundabout with how Piku's shaped now, did it ever, was Piku changed, straightened, realigned, and now it's not going to be with the light, or?
I don't remember a study that showed any that we looked at or was prepared that had the PQ straightened out. And I know that a lot of people have mentioned that, and particularly some of the members of the council, but I mean, that's the way it was laid out. And in reality, we look at what, and it's not necessarily unsafe, but we try to keep the projects within a reasonable cost. And that's one of the goals and objectives we try to do, so we can finish up the MOVE program and have all of the projects done like we need to be.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rayford. Appreciate it. Oh.
So I wrote down a roundabout, and I know you can't really do the timeline, but we're looking at least a year and a half, probably, a year. If all things went as planned with the light, how long do you think that would take? 6 months, a year?
Would probably, I think I said it'd probably be less, I mean, sometime
6
in
months.
late 26, maybe early 27.
So either one's going to take a while.
Yeah, but none of this was going to go overnight, you know, what I mean by that, for months. It's not going to happen. And, you know, it's, and certainly, depending on what project we build, we will certainly add time or maybe reduce some time based on the weather conditions also.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rayford.
Thank you,
Stephanie
council
Phillips.
members. I appreciate it.
Come on down.
Thank you.
Name and title.
Stephanie Phillips, Engineering Director.
All right.
So just a few clarifications. I did receive information directly from LADOTD's project manager that the proposed interchange for Piku and I-10, the ramps would be open by the end of December. That's confirmed. And that, but the signals, they were struggling to get those operational before February of next year. I also could not receive any confirmation on how that actually works without the signals, so I just wanted to provide the direct information that I had received from LADOTD directly. The next thing is the LADOTD study that was conducted in 2019. Part of the road transfer program that was happening to transfer Highland Road to EBR, EBR requested that LADOTD do the study on that intersection, knowing some of the concerns. And as a part of that study, there were 3 alignments that were studied. They did not consider a skewed intersection at the degree that it's at because it's 40 degrees. They did consider realigning at a regular stop control intersection, a signalized intersection, and a roundabout, but those were realigned. You know, per FHWA, you don't create an intersection that has a skew angle more than 75 degrees, and it's at 40. So those are just some of the facts from the studies that were conducted. Shred Kirkendall with Urban Systems was the consultant for that project through LADOTD.
Okay. Any questions for Stephanie while we got her? Motion adjourned. We'll revisit that later. All right, that concludes all of our business. I'll make a few announcements. We are not going to have another meeting for the month of December. We had previously canceled the December 23rd meeting. So if you show up here, it'll be cold and the door will be locked. The next regular City Council meeting, January 13th, 2026 at 5 p.m., followed by the second meeting in January 27th, 5 p.m. Those are City Council meetings. If you're looking at the Board of Adjustments and the Planning Commission and the Zoning Commission, those next meetings are Monday, January 5th, starting at 5 o'clock, with Planning and Zoning starting at 6 o'clock. Administrative hearings for those with code ordinance violations, January 16th, 2026, two dockets, one at 9 a.m. and one at 1 p.m. That concludes the announcements. Do we have any other motions at this time? Motion to adjourn by Councilman Hamlin. Seconds.
Second.
Second by Councilman DeLucci. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.